and not just in this aspect of life, but in many other areas that I've looked at. But those are the first things that kind of jump out at me when you're saying this. Just what, like, if we're wanting to feel like we belong in this life, this earth, whatever it may be, it's kind of so interesting just from what you're pointing to, how we could already be destabilizing a natural rhythm from even before we appear.
That's right. That's right. And that's the unfortunate um, shift in the last, well, millennia, since the ancient Greeks, sort of, and even before that a bit, and then especially in the last few hundred years with the Western Enlightenment perspective that, oh, bodies, that's inferior, nature's inferior, it's the mind that matters, and, ignore all that and just control it all. It's
Yeah.
what McGilchrist calls the left brain orientation, although the more sophisticated neuroscience would argue with that term. But something happens where you get very narrowly focused and you can't appreciate the living dynamism of life. It's just a flow. We're in and out of being this way or that way, and that's fine. But this other focus, so-called left brain, is unable to deal with that. It can't deal with living beings and flexibility once things categorized and set into their own ways of being, and not flexibility. No, I like dead things, right? Static things. That's the culture. The dominant culture is killing us because it doesn't understand if you've only functioned from that part of the brain. And when you're undercared for, that means the lack of the evolved nest, you are undermining this so-called right hemisphere way of being, which is the flow and the receptive intelligence, social and emotional intelligence to get along with all of life. No, you undermine that and you enhance the innate survival systems, which are panic and rage and fear, and because you leave babies in distress, those systems then dominate. They take over. The stress response takes over. The blood flow shifts to the muscles to run away or fight, and so you can't think very well, and you just want to latch on to an answer immediately, black and white thinking, right? So we're making people that way. We were kind of shifting human nature with the undercare that begins at the beginning.
It just the contrast of your aliveness, or what you're pointing to, seems to be so stark in terms of the staticness in which people, even the life path that we may take, it's, I don't know, it just gives me a real felt sense of, oh God, we're just containing this too much. It's no wonder why something so natural feels so foreign.
Yeah. Yeah. In my life, every 8 to 10 years, it was like the rug was pulled out. It's like, oh, I guess that was all confused. That was worldview doesn't make any sense anymore, right? And it's like, oh, all right. Now what do we do? Okay, then you have to regroup, right? But my middle name is Faye, and I think that's part of it. That it to believe that life is for you, that the universe loves you, Mother Earth loves you, right? And so
Yeah.
trust the flow. And in my 2014 book, Neurobiology and the Development of Human Morality, I contrast indigenous wisdom, which I call primal wisdom, with Western wisdom traditions of the Christianity. And they agree on multiple things, like you have to be open to divine energies, the energies of the universe to flow into you, which means you have to let go of ego, you have to let go of fear, you have to be in a state of love. So wisdom is a state of being, right? So you have to, some people have to work at that because we're all kind of against the world. You can't be bracing against the world. You have to be open and flowing. And the two aspects that are distinguish the two kinds of wisdom, one is your compassion that you develop through these processes of wisdom, states of wisdom, is for the Western Christian tradition towards human beings. For the indigenous or kinship or primal wisdom, it's all life. You have
Right.
compassion for all of life, wherever you are, right? And then the other one is the Western wisdom tradition is fearful of the animal nature. I think this is because they've undercared for babies for so long. Babies seem so selfish. Original sin was invented by Saint Augustine when he thought about himself as a baby wanting his mother's breast. Oh, original sin. I mean, those It's all right. So animal nature. Oh no. Whereas in the indigenous wisdom, primal wisdom, kinship wisdom, you want to embrace your animal nature, right?
Mm.
You want to help it, unfold because it is so wise. The animal mind is so wise.